Good morning and thank you all for joining us. I'm Jordan Lindsay, and this is Councilmember Sidney Katz's virtual senior forum. Today, our topic is healthy living, where we have local officials that will provide helpful information about local classes and programs that are available to seniors to live a healthy and balanced lifestyle. Now, before we meet our guests for today, who have important information to share with you, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Councilmember Sidney Katz for some opening remarks. Good morning, Councilmember Katz.
Well, good morning and thank you, Jordan. And good morning to everyone. And thank you for joining us today. We are absolutely delighted to welcome all to the Senior Forum on Healthy Living. As the over 55 population continues to increase in our county, the needs of seniors also increase. The last 2 years have been particularly challenging for seniors as senior and recreation centers closed and social interactions and physical activities became limited. Today, we are very pleased to welcome Stacy Sigler from the Montgomery County Recreation and Josie Macon from Montgomery County Department of Health and Human Services, Local Behavior Health Authority. They're going to speak about the many services and programs in the county available to help seniors to help live a healthy and balanced lifestyle. Thank you both for joining us. I'm also pleased, and for those of us who are old enough to remember the old Ed Sullivan show, you look out in the audience and you say, well, I see some people in the audience. And I'm also very pleased to have two of my personal friends here as well, Chief Sheriff's Deputy Max Wee and Director of Department of Health and Human Services, Dr. Raymond Crowell. And Raymond, since today is about health, would you like to say a few words as we begin?
Councilmember Katz, thank you, and yes, I would. I woke up this morning thinking about with two things on my mind. One was that unearned ache in my back that I couldn't account for, and that is a frequent visitor now as I've gotten into senior status. And the other one was this forum and what it means to be a senior in Montgomery County, to be an older adult in Montgomery County. And I remember. I recalled being a senior in high school and thinking, wow, what a wonderful thing. And then in my 30s, I remember thinking, oh God, I don't want to be a senior. I'm going to be old one day. This is terrible. And now that I've gotten a little perspective on it and gotten here, I realize what a wonderful thing it is. My standing line is to borrow from your NC2A reference, your March Madness reference, it's age is like a basketball score, the higher the better. As long as I can continue to move and be healthy and participate in all that Montgomery County has to offer and can get up and move and express some gratitude about being here and have an opportunity, hopefully, to give back some of what I've learned over the years, to share some of the knowledge and wisdom. And I think about the seniors in this county that are probably one of our greatest resources, just in terms of what they have learned, what they have to share with those who are following behind and those who are walking along on this journey. The collective wisdom between you and I, Sidney, probably is in excess of 110 years, maybe. I'm going to be gentle about it.
Most of the wisdom on those in that age, but anyhow, go ahead.
But I think that there is that kind of wisdom all across this county. Yeah. And as we come out of this pandemic, I think the key to living a healthy life as a senior, living well as a senior, is to stay engaged and to be re-engaged and to get reconnected. And so part of HHS's commitment is to try to help, and I know REC's commitment as well, and library's commitment is, and the county's commitment is to help our older adults to get reconnected, to stay connected, and to be able to find opportunities to put them in a position to share what they have learned, both during this pandemic and across their lifetime. So we need you engaged. And to the seniors that are on this call like me, stay engaged, find a way to get engaged. And for our younger folks, I think part of the conversation today is to figure out how we help that process along and how we reach out and connect to them to get that wisdom and to get the benefit of their hindsight and their foresight. So with that, Councilmember, I want to thank you for doing this forum, and I'm looking forward to hearing some of what our team has to say today, and maybe hearing some of the questions and answers that our audience has for us.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Kroll, and thank you for everything that you do for all of us as well. And hopefully that ache in your back wasn't because you attended the county council meeting yesterday, but maybe you shouldn't answer on that when you put yourself on mute. But anyhow, there you go. I hear you. And so thank you very, very much. And with that, we're going to turn it back to our moderator, Jordan Lindsay, to get us underway. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Katz, and thank you, Dr. Crowell. Now, before we start, I just want to go ahead and lay out a few ground rules. At the end of each presentation from our guests, we will have time for questions and answers. So if you have a question for our presenters, please send it to me through the Q&A chat, and we will read your question out loud for you. Also, we will be fully taping this program, and it will be made available to you after this forum is over, along with online links to resources that will be shared in today's program. So if you missed something, don't worry, we'll get it to you. Up first today, we have Josie Macon with the Department of Health and Human Services. Now, Josie is the Montgomery County Local Behavioral Health Authority's Older Behavioral Health Coordinator. In this role, Josie provides technical assistance to the community and agencies on matters related to older adults. Josie is the subject matter expert for the Mental Health Seniors Program, Mental Health Services for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, and the Community Health Nurse Contract. Welcome, Josie. I'm going to go ahead and toss it over to you for your presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jordan, and thank you, Councilmember, for inviting me here today for this very important topic. As Jordan stated, I am the Older Adults Behavioral Health Coordinator with the Local Behavioral Health Authority, and as an agency, our role is mainly to provide oversight to mental health agencies in Montgomery County. So I will review our agenda for today's topic. Next slide, please. So we will review and discuss the aging population statistics, facts regarding older adults and behavioral health, barriers to treatment, and also we'll discuss behavioral health resources for older adults in Montgomery County. So why is this an important topic? Why should we care about older adults and their behavioral health? So globally, the population is aging, and the population of people 60 and over in Maryland will grow about 30% from approximately 1.4 to 1.8 million by 2040. And also Montgomery County's population of people over 60 is expected to increase by 35% from 2020 to 2040. So this is a rapidly growing population, and they're also aging. And because of those reasons, we need to ensure that we have services and resources in place to be able to support this important and vulnerable population. So some facts regarding older adults and mental health. So 1 in 4 older adults will experience a mental health condition, such as depression, anxiety, or dementia, that can lead to suicidal thoughts and feelings. And due to our population aging, the number of seniors with behavioral health disorders is expected to double by 2030. And also 2/3 of older adults with mental health conditions unfortunately do not get the treatment they need, although treatments do exist. The most common mental health diagnoses in older adults are bipolar, schizophrenia, and depression. And according to the National Association of State Mental Health Program Directors, individuals with mental health conditions tend to die earlier than the general population. There are risks for multiple adverse health conditions, such as diabetes, cardiovascular disease, lung disease, and other health conditions. A recent national poll by the University of Michigan found 1 in 5 adults aged 50 to 80 said their overall mental health worsened during the COVID-19 pandemic, which I'm sure many of us are not surprised by that unfortunate statistics. And depression, anxiety, addiction, and other mental health issues are not a normal part of aging. So I think it's very important that we recognize that as people grow older, it's not normal for them to be experiencing these types of mental health conditions. And it's very important that we do not simply rule it out as, they're just aging, they're just being grumpy, they're the grumpy old man. People who are older and are older adults can have very vibrant, exciting, and healthy lives that do not need to suffer in silence with mental health conditions. And so older adults contemplating suicide do not cite depression as the primary reason. So this is very important for us to understand that as caregivers or just as people or folks with an older adult in our lives, they most likely will not cite their mental health as a reason if they are contemplating suicide. They will most likely blame their struggles with illness, their disability, their financial concerns, family difficulties, and bereavement for the suicidal thought. So, for example, an older client I have, she would mainly discuss all the problems that's going on in her life and as to why she's feeling overwhelmed and sad. She will say that she has significant health conditions. Her daughter is living across the state, so she doesn't have access to her family. She's having financial concerns. So she never mentioned anything about her mental health. And I had to ask her, how are you feeling? How is your mental health? Are you having symptoms of depression? Are you having suicidal thoughts? And that was what it encouraged her to discuss these thoughts of sadness, ongoing sadness, and feelings and of not having any community and feeling really isolated and admitting that she feels worthless and feels like she doesn't have anything to offer anymore because of her old age. So it's very important as people are discussing, particularly older adults, as they're discussing their concerns, that we take a step and ask them how they're feeling, if they're having these thoughts of suicidality. And asking someone if they're feeling suicidal does not mean that they will become suicidal. So I think that's one of the scary topics that many of us don't want to broach, because, well, what if I ask them and they say yes, or if they become suicidal? Most people who are not feeling suicidal will not become suicidal because you simply ask them that question. And so the suicide risk factors in older adults is very high, particularly in Maryland. So according to the Maryland Vital Statistics reports, the percentage of suicide deaths completed by adults age 65 and older in Maryland increased between 2010 and 2018 at a rate higher than the overall growth of this population. So what that means is that, and it's very important for us to note that this was before COVID occurred, right? So what this is saying is that older adults are completing suicides at the rate higher than the general population is growing. So in the beginning, we learned that older adult population is increasing. So these red dots show the increased rate of the growth of the older adult population. So in 2010, it was 12.3%, and in 2018, it grew to 15.4%. So in 2010, the blue line showed the rate of completed suicides in the state of Maryland by older adults age 65 and older. In 2010, it was 16.0%. And sadly, the rates really increased in 2014 at 21.6%, and then it dropped slightly to 18.9% in 2018. So something's going on in our older adult population, whereas even though the population is growing and folks are getting older, unfortunately, the older they're getting, the risk of them completing suicide is also is high. So we really have to be aware of that, of those numbers. And next slide, please. So why is this happening? Why are our older adults not getting the treatment they need despite treatments being available? So there's a lack of education, unfortunately, and stigma about mental health. Many of our older adults don't understand what mental health is. There's just a lot of misinformation, and then feeling like having a mental health diagnosis makes them weak, or makes them quote unquote crazy, and no one wants to be labeled with any type of mental health concerns due to those stigma. Substance use problems. Many older adults, surprisingly, one thing I learned from my training is that older adults use marijuana at a higher rate than young adults. And also alcohol is very high in use in older adults, particularly older white men. So it's very important that we understand this, and substance use is being used to medicate their symptoms. And also, unfortunately, denial, not understanding that they're feeling sad or have a certain mental health condition and not open to being having treatment. And also limited access due to a fragmented healthcare system. So I'm sure many of you know that there's just an unfortunate many gaps within our system, and certain older adults may not qualify for certain mental health services, or there's just not the service available for them when they need it. So for example, there may be a long wait list for someone getting in to see a therapist or a psychiatrist. Inadequate funding and system that's causing delays in obtaining treatment. So unfortunately, part of COVID is that there's just a lack of workers available to serve older adults. And this is what we're seeing across all of our systems, particularly in the mental health system. For older adults, and whereas there's just not enough workers, so this is causing the delays for folks to be seen as well. And moving forward also is transportation. So as older adults get older, they may not be able to drive anymore, so they might rely on public transportation, and they may not be living near a place that offer public transportation for them to get to treatments. And as I mentioned earlier, geriatric mental health workforce shortages and high out-of-pocket costs. So older adults, once they're retired and no longer working, many of them are on fixed income, which might be through disability or retirement. And this limited fixed income may not provide them the chance or opportunity to continue to pay out of pocket for treatment. And cultural preferences. So many, we live in a very diverse and culturally vibrant community. And so we serve folks from all different walks of life and faith and language, and they speak different languages. So they may want to prefer to speak with someone who, who speaks Russian. They may want a Russian therapist, or I had a client who told me I only want to meet with a Black woman therapist. So based on their cultural preferences, it can be very challenging to connect them with the appropriate treatment provider. It should be noted that in Montgomery County, we do offer language interpreters. So if someone is only fluent in, let's say, Arabic, and their therapist is not, they're willing to meet with their therapist, we can provide an interpreter for them. So what are the resources that's available for older adults in Montgomery County, and the behavioral health resources? So the main important one is the Montgomery County Crisis Center, and they are a 24/7 um, a service center, really, where they address a whole array of different county resident concerns. So they not only have therapists available, they also have a crisis mobile team that go out into the community. So if someone is having a mental health crisis, their workers will go out and assess that individual to see if they need to be hospitalized or what community resources that's available for them. Folks can also walk in and speak with the therapist. The county crisis center also have what we call a residential crisis bed. So if someone is in a mental health crisis, they can stay in that bed where they will be able to speak with the therapist, see a psychiatrist, get on a medication regimen, and once they're stabilized at that crisis bed, they can return to the community. Also, the Montgomery County hotline, which is also available 24/7. So if an older adult is having a mental health crisis, they can call that line to get access to mental health resources in the county. And there's also an online chat. So some folks many older adults are great with technology, and it might be easier for people to utilize online chat rather than a face-to-face conversation based on stigma or shyness, or just wanting a bit of privacy or confidentiality when they're reaching out for help. So that's another wonderful service for them. The Aging and Disability Services, that's part of the Montgomery County Department of Health and Human Services, is really a wonderful resource as well. Not only do they support and provide resource for folks seeking behavioral health treatment in Montgomery County, they also focus on the needs of the aging population as well. So they have a department that's focusing on protecting older adults, so APS, which is Adult Protective Services, which go out and investigate crimes against older adults, or self-neglect, and support older adults who might need more assistance in their home. They assist older adults who might need to transfer from their home to an assisted living facility or senior center. Senior a nursing home or retirement center. They provide services for folks who might need in-home health aid. So someone who might come in and support the older adult with their activities of daily living in their home. So it might be cooking, it might be helping them bathe, or medication management. So that's a wonderful resource. And we also have the Senior Services Affiliate Santa Group, and this is a wonderful mental health resource where therapists through Affiliated Santa Group go into the home of older adults. So many older adults, as you know, may have transportation barriers where they are not able to get to a therapist's office, and particularly now with COVID, where many therapists are doing virtual therapy sessions. Older adults are not, open to that right now. They prefer the face-to-face interaction. So this service provide therapy in home to an older adult. And if the older adult prefer to have a virtual meeting, that is also provided as well. And the friendly visitor program is really wonderful. So an unfortunate barrier to many older adults and feeling part of the community is isolation. And, they may have family members that are living across, the county or the state. With COVID-19, many older adults are very afraid of going out and being around other people because this virus really impacts this population greatly. So, the increase of isolation is being seen right now within our older adult population. So this friendly visitor program is where volunteers come and it's literally like a friend to this individual, will come to their home, help them, provide food, and just be a listening ear or companion to someone who is in their home and have no social supports. And access to behavioral health is a wonderful service for particularly older adults who may be undocumented or uninsured. Us being a vibrant and diverse community, we do have high undocumented population as well. So access to behavioral health is a part of Montgomery County where older adults who are undocumented or uninsured or are not able to pay for the high out-of-pocket costs are able to see a therapist and get psychiatric treatment, and also referral to community services within the county as well. And I believe that's it on my presentation. Does anyone have any questions?
I will go ahead and open it up for questions. Thank you so much, Josie. That was a great presentation with lots of helpful information. So I'm going to start off. I see we have a lot of people here in the chat coming in with lots of comments, a lot of resources, guys. If you guys go take a look in there, you'll see comments rolling in about resources. Friendly reminder that if you do have any questions for Josie, go ahead and note that in the chat. But one question I have for you to start it off while the questions roll in, Josie, is what about, or can you elaborate about what adults who don't qualify for certain services or don't have the resources for adequate treatment, what do you recommend they do? Can you maybe take us through a brief step of how they can, get to those resources if they need it?
So, well, there are many. Unfortunately, there are many system gaps, right? So I would just say, let's just use the example of someone who is undocumented, who might need services, right? So I would say folks can call me because I am the older adult behavioral health coordinator for Montgomery County. So if anybody has a question or serving an older adult and they're just like, I don't know how to connect them to services in the county, and because it can be very confusing to know everything and know how to get people to help their needs. So I can be that vessel and of connecting people. Oh, call this person, or this is what they might need. I can also help folks who might need, resources for getting someone to assisted living, getting someone to nursing home, getting them connected to mental health resources. So feel free to call me for any questions or resources. So the main thing for me is understanding the individual situation and then connecting them to really what they need. Thankfully, there's always something we can do. There's always a resource within our community that we can connect them to. And if there isn't, then we'll find.
Nice, thank you so much, Josie. I see Dr. Kroll, I raised his hand. He might have something to say.
I think Josie covered almost everything that I would add to that I would have said to that, except to add just two things. One is that we have to emphasize that we have a variety of sources for something for everyone, regardless of their ability to pay for that service through the county. And the other one is that we in the county do not ask questions about immigration status or legal status. So there are folks who are online who may have some who may not necessarily have documentation. That's not important to us. The important piece is that there's service available to you and we can get you there. So starting with Josie is a good place to start that journey. HHS is complicated, but Josie and her colleagues have an in-depth knowledge about the system and can help people get to where they need to be.
Great, that was great feedback. Thank you, Dr. Cron. Thank you, Josie. Now, we do have a comment from Inez Nolan. Inez says another barrier is the ongoing stigma associated with mental health and seeking treatment. That looks like a comment that Inez wanted to share. Thank you for sharing that, Inez. Now, C. Author Blair is asking and says, I would like to know what is the homeless rate of senior citizens in Montgomery County? Josie, I don't know if you can speak to that.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I don't know the specific statistic of that, but I before coming onto this job, I actually used to work, I was a shelter director for the women's shelter in Montgomery County with Interfaith Work. So, and I can't speak to the direct number, but we were seeing a high number of older adults in the homeless shelters, unfortunately.
Jordan, I believe Odile may have posted an answer in the chat somewhere.
Yeah, I see Odile. So Odile Brunetto says 12% of people who are in our homeless shelters are over the age of 62 in our county. So that was a comment that we had from somebody there. Now, I do want to toggle back up to a question from Rosalie Bright. She says she hesitates to participate in any in-person indoor activities while in Montgomery County in mask optional status in indoor settings except homes. Now, we do have Stacy Sigler here, but I didn't know if Josie can just speak to what this person can do. They said that they recently retired and look forward to years of being able to take art classes and craft classes and things like that, and they put it on hold. Now, I think that might somehow impact their mental health and things they want to do. Josie, did you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, so in regards to how to connect with other people virtually, it is very hard. But a good thing is if this individual is well-versed on technology, there are many, and I can send them the many resources available. There are many things that are going virtual as well. So senior centers are and Stacy might talk about that, are a wonderful wealth of knowledge for those folks who want to connect with others, and many programs, many webinars for older adults online. And so there are opportunities to still connect with people virtually if you don't prefer in person.
Thank you. Up next, we have Michael Masterson. Asked the question, when would somebody qualify for a crisis bed versus an inpatient hospitalization?
Yeah, that's a wonderful question. So for really, the crisis bed is a step down from the inpatient hospital. So a crisis bed will be for someone who is having a mental health crisis, feeling suicidal or homicidal, or needs some kind of medication adjustment. So they may not necessarily want to go to the hospital. So we want to offer individuals choice, right? Because hospitals can be very traumatizing for people as well. They've had very unfortunate, poor experiences with hospitals, so they may not want that. So we offer them this option in the community where it is also smaller and less traumatizing, because all the resources and supports are right there and in their community, so they're not in the hospital setting.
Thank you so much for that. And I did see somebody ask for Josie's contact information. We did post that in the chat. In case you don't see it, just let us know again, but her information is in the chat there. Now, Inez Nolan came back and said, what about the benefits of exercise and physical activity in general and the effects on both physical and mental health? And what is being done to encourage older adults to participate in available exercise classes?
Yeah, having a physical exercise, and I believe Stacy will probably talk about that as part of the recreation. There is definitely a connection between the mind and the body. And senior centers are a wonderful wealth of resource for those. They have free exercise rooms, programs and activity. I think it's very important for seniors to be connected to people. None of us are islands. Most of us don't do well when we're by ourselves. So being connected to people, being active, right? And in whatever capacity that might be for us is very important. There are resources available for those individuals as well.
Thank you so much, Josie. And again, her information, guys, in the chat, 240-777 4529 if you guys need to go ahead and get in contact
Yeah,
with Stacey.
I can put my email in there as well for folks.
Great, thank you so much. So now, just a friendly reminder, any of the chat questions that we don't get to now, guys, we will respond in the near future. I want to thank you all so much. Now, up next, we have a presentation from Stacy Sigler with the Montgomery County Department of Recreation. Now, Stacy is the supervisor for the County Recreation Senior Programs team, working with all senior centers and countywide senior programs. Welcome, Stacy. I'm going to go ahead and toss it to you so you can start your presentation. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here today and talk to you about Montgomery County Recreation senior programs in particular. Our department offers a wide variety of opportunities to stay well and to stay happy and to stay healthy. My focus, of course, will be on what our senior programs team has to offer. I would need probably half a day to fill you in on everything. So I'm going to try to highlight the gist of what we have in each of our centers, and we'll be happy to answer questions and of course connect with people after today. So go ahead, next, Carmen. What you see is a list of all of our senior centers. We have Damascus, which is a standalone senior center. It's connected to the library up there in Damascus. We have Holiday Park, which is in Silver Spring and is also a standalone senior center. Long Branch, unfortunately, isn't quite open yet, but we hope to have it open by mid-May. That is the goal at this point. For now, we're servicing some Long Branch seniors at both Schweinhout and Wheaton Senior Center. Okay, we also have the Margaret Schweinhout Senior Center in Silver Spring, and that is also a standalone senior center. North Potomac is part of the Nancy Dasick Center, so that is over there in Rockville. We have the White Oak Senior Center, that is a combination rec center senior center as well. And then we have our newest Wheaton Senior Center, which is also with the Wheaton Rec Center. So a shout out to many of them who are holding streaming videos of this forum today. They're joining us from their senior center. So hi to everybody. Okay, healthy living. So we, of course, think that everything we do helps you with healthy living. In addition to all of the exercise classes, we have a nutritious lunch. We have lots of health and wellness programs, art classes, educational opportunities, and special events. And I will say that I don't go into great detail with what we have in person versus virtually. Of course, when our centers were not open, we were total virtual. Now we have a little bit of a hybrid going on. We do offer some classes virtually for those that aren't quite ready to come back to the centers. And we've also tried to get almost up to pre-COVID program numbers as far as what we're offering in our senior centers. So please just reach out to the senior center nearest you or any of us on the team, and we would certainly be willing to go over that information with you. Okay, exercise classes. This is just a snippet. This is just a glance at some of the fun and awesome exercise classes that we have in each of our centers. A variety of yoga, Zumba, of course. You can't have a day without a Zumba class. Fun things like hula dance. We have shape and tone. We offer walking in all of our centers, pretty much in the indoor arena, in the gym. So you don't have to be outside if you don't want to, or you can be with others while you're walking and meet new friends. Bone Builders, that is one that we do have back in person. We partner with HHS for that program, and we also have that class virtual. So that continues to be virtual as well. Shape and tone, balance exercise. I'm not going to read them all to you, but you get the idea. We have a little bit of the higher energy and some of the calmer, more Tai Chi, Qigong type classes, as well as chair exercise classes. Senior nutrition. So this is another thing. We partner with our friends over at HHS for the senior nutrition program. It is a lunch meal provided Monday through Friday at all of our senior centers. It is a congregate meal, meaning we eat together. And we offer donation based, so you do not have to pay anything, or you can provide a little bit of money for your daily lunch. We do require registration for the meal program, so you would just talk to your local senior center and make sure that you get on that list to receive a meal. We offer hot, cold, and vegetarian options, so it is a good choice. It is a diabetes friendly lunch. For those that want to come and, meet some other people, maybe not eat a meal alone, you are welcome to join us at any of our senior centers for the nutrition lunch program. Health and wellness. So this again is a little bit of a sample of what our senior program team hosts. We do blood pressure checks, often by nurses and retired nurses. And those would appear on our calendars. They're held pretty often in each of our centers to keep an eye on your numbers. Vaccines. So typically it would have been the flu vaccine. Now we are offering the COVID-19 and booster vaccines. That is actually happening right now at White Oak. And we are starting to offer some pop-up locations at our other senior centers. We're working with HHS to make that happen. In fact, it started today here at Holiday Park, which is my office, where my office is. So we do have those vaccines. Healthy cooking classes. We partner with the nutritionist from the senior nutrition program. She comes out and shows our participants how to make some delicious, healthy meals. Health talks and lectures. So we partner with people like the University of Maryland Extension, Holy Cross, Suburban, the local hospitals, to have living well classes, fresh conversation classes, teach you a little bit about nutrition, health in general. Some of the classes get pretty specific, whether it be diabetes or any other health concerns. And of course, we offer counseling support groups. Some of those are also being held virtual. So we have some in person with Coping with Change, Maximize You, and then some of those are held virtually. We can also connect you with one of the social workers from HHS. Each of our centers works with one. And often our centers do serve as a resource center to get you in touch with all the right people. And that is one of the things that we connect you with. And they are doing, I believe, both in person and virtual meetings. Okay, so on to some of the sports. Maryland Senior Olympics. Anyone that spends 5 minutes with me will hear about the Maryland Senior Olympics. It is something that I direct for the state, and I'm lucky with my position with recreation to be able to do so. It is for those 50 plus. So we start pretty young there at age 50. There is such a variety of sports that are available to people, anything from bocce to volleyball, basketball, and of course, what would be without pickleball. We have pickleball everywhere, and it is growing. So these sports are statewide, but I will tell you at least a third of the events happen right here in Montgomery County, and Montgomery County Recreation serves as the host agency for them, with myself being the contact, working with all the coordinators to get all of these excellent sports done. You do not have to be an Olympian. You just have to be age 50 and above. To participate is to win is the motto for a reason. We want everybody to just come out, learn, grow, meet people, connect with people. We have a great time. I will tell you, this year we are actually having a qualifying year because we feed into the National Senior Games. So that just means that you're actually able to qualify to compete nationally at the national level, which will be next year in Pittsburgh. Coming up here next month, actually, we're sending 575 Maryland Senior Olympians to Fort Lauderdale to compete in the National Senior Games. So that's all happening next month. We'll have all kinds of great, exciting pictures and videos to share with everybody. Really looking forward to it. So that also leads into all of the sports that we host in our centers for seniors. Not quite there yet, Carmen, but that's okay. I just want to point out, it's okay that the basketball, the volleyball, the badminton, we have all of that in our recreation and senior centers. At the end, you'll see our website. That'll be a great place to look to find out where you can learn and participate and start getting involved in some of those sports. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so new to our team, actually, very recently, Paula Rogers, who does an excellent job leading SOAR and Day Trippers. She's joined our senior programs team. Her office is also here at Holiday Park. Senior Outdoor Adventures and Recreation. So these are day trips for those 55 and over. They usually require quite a bit of energy. There's lots of local sites that they check out, maybe up to museums and gardens up in Pennsylvania, a little bit of everything. You'll definitely want to check out that brochure and that website. It's a great way to go to sites you already know, maybe see something new that you've never gone to before. Definitely meet some new people, meet some like-minded travel adventurous people. And then day trippers is actually an intergenerational type of activity. So they go to destinations as well, only it's more for all ages. So a grandchild with their grandma and grandpa can certainly take advantage of going on those trips. And we are getting a little bit closer to bringing all of those back. It's been a slow process with COVID. Of course, had to take a long break there, but the SOAR trips are back and are filling and are starting to pick up speed. And so the day trippers will be right behind it. You get all those details on our website. They do use coach buses, and the fees will just vary depending on where the trip is going to. Okay, additional offerings, pretty bold there, right? Because we have so many other things that we do at all of our senior centers. We celebrate special events, so birthdays, holidays, entertainment, parties. We bring in some excellent entertainers that you do not want to miss. We have dances, we have DJs, we have all kinds of fun with holidays. So let's see, coming up in May, we'll have Cinco de Mayo, we'll have Mother's Day. We just celebrated Holi, the Festival of Colors, with a little bit of everything. We do Hispanic Heritage Month. We zero in on anything that our participants want us to participate in and help us. We get lots of help from our volunteers that make these all happen with tea parties and you name it. So we just have a great time together. In addition, we have lots of art classes. So drawing, painting, watercolors, ceramics, knitting, crocheting, we have it all. Schweinhaut actually has kilns, so they have quite the ceramics program over there. So certainly if you have a skill that you want to sharpen or one that you want to learn, we're the place to come to. We'll have lots to talk to you about. Guest speakers. So we often entertain lots of county representatives, politicians, historians in the area. Somebody mentioned earlier, we have such a variety of residents in Montgomery County that have stories to tell and amazing backgrounds to share with us, and we'd like to highlight those. We often have people come and speak and tell their story and do little trips via pictures on the screen and have a great time doing so. We actually are soon hosting John McCarthy and Eric Friedman at Holiday Park on April 25th. We're having Scams Against Seniors Forum. So make sure you take a look at that and come join us for that. It will be an important topic, of course, and those are the types of things that we like to make sure we're connecting you with. Okay, also coming up, a special event, Senior Adventures. Camp is for everyone, we like to say. Last summer, we actually started with our senior camps. It was Seniors on the Go. Paula from SOAR and Mary from our Long Branch Senior Center coordinated 2-week-long senior summer camps. And it was fantastic. They were just amazing. So we're keeping the tradition going this year with Kathleen taking over, doing some senior adventures. And there will be 3-day camps, one out of Long Branch and one out of Damascus. We'll have theme days, of course, lunch, entertainment, guest lectures, and all of the trips will be taken by coach bus, nice, comfy, cozy coach buses in the area. And so we'll definitely, you want to keep an eye out for that. We don't quite have a flyer. We do have a flyer. We'll make sure we share the flyer with you with those specific dates and fees and what all is involved with those. But we hope you take a look and certainly join us for some camp fun. Barbecue Bonanza. We are so excited to host our first annual Barbecue Bonanza for seniors 55 plus. It will be at the Smoky Glen Farm this summer. So June 22nd, we're going to actually take coach buses out of all of our senior centers and hope to have just hundreds of seniors join us that day for a lot of fun there at the farm. Tiana out of White Oak is heading this up for us, and we'll have games and crafts. We'll take a hike. There'll be softball and kickball, line dancing, maybe a Zumba demo, so much more. Of course, Smoky Glen caters. So we'll have the delicious barbecue lunch available for everybody with vegetarian options, of course. And looking forward to hopefully a great sunny day, but it will be rain or shine. So either way, we're going to get out there and have a great time together. Okay, so this is it for me. I just wanted you to know who was where and have everybody's contact information. As you know, if you've emailed anybody in Montgomery County, we do first name dot last name with the same big long email address there. So you have Kathy, who is up at Damascus. At Holiday Park, we have Dolores as the center director. And this is kind of a sneak peek because Marco is starting with us on Monday. He'll be the rec coordinator, assistant director here at Holiday Park, starting with us Monday. We have Mary at Long Branch. So of course, she's working hard to be prepared to reopen fully at Long Branch. Over at Schweinhout, we have Karen as the center director and Adele, who just joined our team. We're so excited last week as the assistant director over at Schweinhout. And Schweinhout is actually going to be celebrating their 50th anniversary in the fall. So definitely keep your eyes and ears open for all of those details. We're really looking forward to celebrating. North Potomac, we have Sheila over there. At Wheaton, we have Alex. At White Oak, we have Tiana. And then, of course, with SOAR and Day Trippers, I mentioned Paula, which I see I have a typo there. Anybody that knows me know that's going to bug me. It is Paula Rogers. So we'll get that corrected. And then we have some of us here at the Holiday Park offices, Kathleen, who is also very new to our team. We have to have somebody to handle all of the contracts for all these wonderful instructors and get new instructors for us. And so she kind of handles everything outside of all of the senior centers. And then, of course, myself, as I've already mentioned, for supervisor for the team in Maryland Senior Olympics, and our manager, Sarah. And then, of course, you'll see the website, which I highly recommend you go check out so you can get all of the newsletters, class information, how to register, all of those great details.
Great. Thank you so much, Stacy. That presentation was great with lots of useful information that everybody can use. We also did have a few questions in here coming in. We have Rosie Lee Bright. Exercise in person rooms are a nightmare, she's saying, but she's asking more about those exercise in room areas and how they can be more adequately prepared for people that want to use them at this time. Do you have any brief information for her?
Sure. So I can tell you that we are definitely making sure they are staying clean. We are also kind of marking off equipment that can't be used if the piece next to it is. So we're trying to do like an every other type thing in some of our gyms. And I will say that a lot of people are slow to get back to a gym type environment. They aren't real crowded, I think, because of all the hours in the day that we are open and offer the weight rooms. You'll find that you can have just a couple of people in that space to hopefully be a little bit more comfortable to get your workout in.
Great. Now, Sharon Lee Minor King says she loves the classes that you guys offer over there at the Recreation Center. She just wants to know when more classes will become hybrid. She says she does Tai Chi with Sword. The teacher is fabulous. So just hoping that, are there any hybrid classes coming up at any time?
Sure. So we are always working on new classes, making things hybrid and available to more people. If we haven't thought of it yet, we might just need you to remind us. We might just need you to stop by and say, hey, I'm really loving this class, but I think at this point, I'd like to do it from home. And it could be because it works better in your schedule, not necessarily because you don't want to be in the center. Of course, we want to see everybody come through our doors, but we do want to provide opportunities for people to stay home and be able to do that virtually. So just kind of remind us that that is something that you'd be interested in, and we'll certainly see what we can do.
Mary Lee Reniger says, how does she subscribe to the newsletters for the senior centers? That's a good one there.
It is a good one. So all of the newsletters are available to view and download on the MoCo Rec website. And certainly if you want one in particular emailed to you and be on that list, just reach out to that center director. They all have lists of people they send them out to every month, and you can get right on it.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Now, we only have a few minutes left, everybody, and I just want to assure folks who have questions that we haven't gotten to yet, if you don't get to your question at this very moment, we will answer it personally in the near future. Now, we are gathering all the data, and we will be giving everybody a link to all the information that has been provided today, so you can access it, as well as a link to this program if you want to watch it again, because there's been a lot of very helpful information. I mean, you look at the chat, guys, we still have things coming in here, people offering resources and all of that as well. Now, we want to thank all of you for joining us today, but I'm going to have to toss it back over to Councilmember Katz for some closing remarks. Thank you so much, everybody. I think you're muted, Councilmember Katz.
You know, I jokingly tell people we no longer say hello. We say, am I on mute or you are on mute, rather than say hello anymore. But thank you very, very much, Jordan. And I did want to note that our friend, Director of Recreation, Robin Riley, was here as well and answering questions. So she's another 24/7 person that works 24/7. But we'd like to thank everybody who participated today, and a special thank you to Josie and to Stacy, and the work that you do for the residents of Montgomery County is truly invaluable. And we are grateful, literally grateful, for all that you do. We greatly appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to be with us today. I want to thank Jordan for doing a wonderful job, as always, moderating for us. And I want to thank the Katz office team for coordinating these events, especially Carmen Carrad. I learned long ago that when something looks easy to do, it just shows the great job and hard work someone did to make it look easy. And that's exactly what we had today. Beyond thanking everyone for joining us, we look forward to many senior forums in the future. We don't have a date currently for our next one, but we'll certainly get the information out to you when it's available. We welcome any opportunity to share the work that the county is doing to ensure that every resident's needs are being met, and to highlight the wonderful services available here in the county. With that, Jordan, I'm going to turn it back to you. Thank you all very, very much. You're on mute.
Sorry about that. Look, I was on mute now. Thank you so much again, Councilmember Katz, and thank you to all of our guests that joined us today and provided such fantastic presentations for our audience. This chat reflects just how interested everybody is in this helpful information about useful local resources for our senior population. Again, we will send you a link with all the information, a link to the program, and answers to all your questions as well. We will also be sending an evaluation, and we will appreciate any input to help us plan future sessions. So be on the lookout for that. Again, thank you guys, everybody. Thank you so much. And everybody have a fantastic day. Bye-bye.